Well, this talk back is about the art of acting, and I told Beth this morning, but one of the things that I most admire about your acting is that you're so willing to take risks with your characters, but you really still respect the character. You push the envelope just enough to where you make them something unique, that they don't become caricatures. And I think that's what the best actors do. And do you mind talking a little bit about how you manage to do that?
This is all very emotional for me, you guys. Oh, I feel so happy and grateful and honored and humble. Well, I do love to act. I mean, I do. I love to be somebody else. When they say, just be yourself, I think, oh, no. That is not why I became an actress. I love to transform. I love to disappear in the characters. I'm very detailed. I'm a Virgo by birth, and I am, some people have unkind words for that, but I like to think God is in the details. And I sort of can drive people crazy sometimes with my search for every little thing, but it's my joy, it's what I really love. I've had directors in plays say, you got it, let it go, and I think, I haven't even begun, what I'm going to do in terms of research and details. So, but, as I said this morning, I do think if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage. And I have the utmost respect for writers. I'm a writer, and I've tried for years to really learn to write and to understand structure, and then to also make it organic and fill it with life and humanity. I just think the writers are the most amazing people on earth. And what's that line I said? I don't know if you heard me say that last night to somebody. Tony Bill, who produced The Sting and Taxi Driver, he said, oh, Beth, writing's easy. You just put your hands on the keys and wait until your fingers bleed, which is sort of the pain of it. So I do try to honor the intent of the playwright or screenwriter, and to, help him or her make his vision more clear. And I founded a theater company in New York on Bleecker Street called the Sun Theater Company. I was so optimistic then. And it was based on, doing plays the way the writers wrote them. And but I also believe that experimentation can sometimes shed light on material. So I've grown a little bit now to think that sometimes we can add things that maybe the writer didn't think of. There's a higher good involved in every piece of art. And if we collaborate, the big deal to me is collaboration, working together with respect. And, I try to find out what my job is in the world of the play. As I said this morning, I'm generally the obstacle. It seems like I'm usually the bad guy or the one that's trying to stop the hero from getting what they want. And that helps me a lot. But I also try to find my arc, because I think every character has a beginning, middle, and end, even if it's just in one scene. And but with the utmost respect to the higher good of the piece, what is it really trying to say? So.
I asked you this morning about whether there was a pivotal moment in your life when you decided you wanted to be an actor, and if you wouldn't mind retelling that story.
Oh, sure,
a bigger audience.
Well, my uncle was in the Korean War, and he was an All-American football player, and he was tall and handsome and gregarious and the most popular guy in town. And when he came back from Korea, he was in his Navy uniform, and my mother had taught me the song to sing to him. And he squatted down and he's listening, and I was singing, oh, where have you been, Billy boy, oh, where have you been? So when I finished the song, he just applauded and laughed, and the whole room laughed and applauded. And I thought, I want more of this for the rest of my life. This is where I live now. And I didn't know the word was actor, but I certainly started, as they used to say in the South, showing off. I was a big show off. I was so relieved, in fact, when my acting teacher said, I think all actors have to be a little bit of a show off. And I thought, oh, that's me. And so I always loved to tell, and I used to lie. I mean, I would say tell stories, but never lies. I would come home from school and just make up these incredible stories of things that had happened in school that was not a parcel of truth in them, just to entertain my mother, to get her shot, to say, oh, they did? Yes! We had I don't know if these people still exist, but in the 50s, in the South, there were a lot of peeping toms going around. Y'all heard peeping toms?
Yeah.
It sounds like a suburban housewife myth. There were these people that would go and peek in windows. And so we had a peeping tom in the neighborhood in East Point, Georgia, and all the moms and housewives were just aflutter over this peeping tom and catching him. And I was playing, and my neighbor wasn't home, and I took some Georgia red clay and I wrote on her screen door, "You are next." I was a terrible child. And so she came home and she started yelling and screaming and ran across the street to Mama and got Mama, and they were there. All the women were gathered around and they all went to look at this door, and Mama recognized my handwriting. So I was in big trouble. But that's, that was probably part of my training, was making up those stories. I did quit lying. Over time, I found that was much too complicated to keep my stories straight. So not out of virtue, but just out of practicality. I did decide it was better to use, plays and scripts and be honest about my play for Tim. And so what was the question?
I asked, and I'm
when
recycling
I made
some
the
of our
decision.
questions from this morning.
It just
but
kept going after that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Some of the questions I asked you this morning, I'm using them again because I thought you were getting to what the art of acting
Yeah.
is for you. And one of the things that you said last night before Donnie Darko screened was that you remembered the moment that you learned that you were a character actor and not
Yes.
and not the quote unquote lead actor.
Yes.
And how that was a bitter pill for you. Would you mind talking about that again?
No, I'm happy to. It's still a bitter pill for me on some days. I have to say, there are days that I'll be doing a character and the makeup artist, a lot of times they want to make me look really pretty. That's what they're inclined to do. And I want them to make me look really pretty, but I know the character doesn't look like that. And so it's like all I can do to say, I think we need to take her down, or let's, can we make the eyebrows a little heavier? And they look heavier. Or I have some strange idea for a hairdo, or I want to wear glasses, or whatever it is. But there is a part of me that still wants to be pretty and wants to be, Joan Crawford, Marilyn Monroe, Loretta Young, all these beautiful women that were my heroes when I was little. And but I got to New York and I was overweight with a southern accent and gaps in my teeth, and so I don't want to say I was dumb, because I wasn't dumb, but just completely innocent. I didn't even know that entree meant the meal. I thought that was like another thing after hors d'oeuvres that you got. Because on the menu it said entree, it said hors d'oeuvres, entree, and then it listed all the dinners. So I tried to order, and I'll have an entree with me. Just to tell you how ignorant I was. And so the roles that I was offered were just, terrible people, bag ladies and bar people, and I said this morning, I sit in my picture, which I thought was just gorgeous. I had a big wig and all this makeup on. I thought I was looking so glamorous, and they called it and they said, "Oh, we'd really love to see you for this movie. We think you're a great bar type." And I thought, bar type? I'm going to be the ingenue. And so I was, because of that, I became a producer, so it always worked for good. The fact, like I said, well, I'll just start my own theater company. And I produced a play that I had done in college called Holy Ghost by Romulus Linney, Laura Linney's dad, and it's about Pentecostal snake handlers. And somehow, by hook and by crook, I raised that money and rented that theater and got the director. I don't know how this little girl did it at age 22, 23. And we did that play and started this theater company on Salem, and I directed a couple of plays, and then we got one of the plays on the cable channel. And I was just always an entrepreneur and a busy person. I just always had projects, and we were talking about that a little bit this morning too, that it was my nature to create, not just to act, but to write, direct, produce, get it done type stuff. But society really did not encourage that. They'd let Warren Beatty do it, but girls from the South weren't particularly like, "Oh yes, come right this way." And I would get discouraged. And it's not anybody's fault. It's just the way society was then. And I would do it for a while, and then I would get discouraged, and then I would take a straight job. I was like a celebrity coordinator for Jimmy Carter's campaign in '76, which was a great job. And then from that, met some people, and I got a producer training program at Universal. I, called the head of Universal and said I'd like to learn how to make movies. And so they set me up. I didn't get paid, but I worked every day 9 to 5. Then I worked at a film school at night, and I was always writing, creating. I did a comedy review at the Improv. So it's my nature to do all these different things, but really I found eventually I had to focus. And once I got my casting, once I understood I was a character actress, then I really focused on that, and I said no to everything else. And no more politics, no more producing, no more directing, no more writing. Let me just do this one thing and earn a living for one thing and have some success. And so I focused for many years on that, and I was lucky enough to build a career. And then at a certain point I thought, well, let me dip my little toe in there a little bit and see if I can't do something. And I directed this short with Octavia Spencer and Lauren Miller Rogan and Anna O'Reilly and Jennifer Zaborowski, my daughter, and Frances Fisher. And so it was wonderful, but it was a year of my life. Right? How many years have you been working on your movie?
7 years.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and that's sort of typical.